This is Nikki in Niagara, coming to you from Niagara Falls, Canada. And welcome to my vlog. This is week 23, and I'm here to color and chat. So, I am coloring in George Toufexis' Autumn Inspirations, a color by number book by Creative Haven. I was asked by Lisa at Coloring My Way to color out of a George Toufexis color by number, so I picked my new one. And also, I just found this morning my list of things that people had asked me to color. And I still have a couple left on there that I haven't done, so people probably don't expect me to ever do it, or that they may not even watch anymore, who knows. But I am going to do them because, you know, it gives me a direction to go. So Lisa asked for this, and I'm doing it, but I see on my list somebody had asked me to color out of a Creative Haven CBN. So I'm crossing that one off the list because we'll do 2 requests with 1 color. So, let's keep that off for a minute. What I'm using is I am mostly using, let's see if I can show you without, I'm mostly using my permanent markers. These are the fine ones, and these are the ones that I'm mostly using. But I also have my ultra fines here as well, so that I can, if I don't have a color in one, I can look for it in the other. And if I need to get into really tiny spaces, I'll use the ultra fines. But I find that most brands of permanent markers have a nice enough tip that if you use if you just let the marker touch the paper, you can get into pretty fine spaces as well. So while I colored, I thought I would call out the colors for you, so that if you want to use permanent markers with your Creative Haven CBNs, you'd have a few colors and markers to use for the colors. So not all of these brands like Sharpies have a name on them, but so I have done number 3, which is light orange, and for that I used a Bic Intensity Summer Melon. Then I did number 2, which is yellow, and I just got a bright Shuttle Art marker for that. And now I am doing number 10, which is green, and I'm using a Crayola Take Note in the color Endless Waves. And this is what I'm working on now. So let's see. I'll have to, no, we want it up there. Okay, I just want to try and color without covering up what I'm coloring. But I guess it's easier to do over here. It's hard to do over on the side. So if you can't see, you will be able to see in other places. So the light is really wonky today. It's sunny out, but it's not shining in my window. My house appears to be in total shade. So it's kind of dark in here, so I've got the lights on. And I guess the combination of the sunlight and or what there is of it and the lights are creating shadows. So hopefully I can do some editing to make this light have a good light. I didn't know what to say, where I was going with that. So, how has your week been? Mine has been very good. Been doing good health-wise. My shots took really, really well. And I haven't had any pain in my right leg. That's the side where I got the injection. And that's the side that was really bad. And when it got really bad, it would make the left one get really bad too. I don't know how that works, but that's what would happen. Yesterday, though, I started feeling my left leg starting to ache. But I can handle aching. It's just the intense pain that I'd rather do without. So today the left leg is aching quite badly, but nothing I can't deal with. The other side, the right side, is just wonderful. So I've been able to walk around the house like really well, which is nice and makes me happy. So when I'm coloring these color by numbers, I use markers. Sometimes I'll switch it up and use water-based markers if there's only small spaces. They don't look too good if there's a big space to color, but if it's all just little tiny spaces, water-based ones are just fine. But I like to use the permanent markers a lot of well, no, I suppose I do both just as much. But I'm using markers anyways. And oh boy, this is going to be tough to look for these tiny numbers and at the same time keep up a conversation. So when I use markers and these books, I do not pay attention to the zeros. Okay, in my opinion, the zeros are there for if you're using pencils. I don't really ever do any shadows when I'm coloring with markers anyways, so I don't need to do them in these. So what I do is that, like, what you're supposed to do is use black on the color to darken it up so that it looks like a shadow, and you're supposed to use the color that's above, like that's the closest, well, the closest one, because sometimes it's beside, but the closest one, the color to it, you're going to be giving that one a shadow. So what I do is I just color it the same color and ignore the zeros. And that works perfectly fine for me. I like the way my pictures come out, and they always do nicely on Instagram, so I don't think it really matters about doing that zero. So do that. So like usual, it's been fairly not fairly, it really has been an uneventful week. Just in and out. Well, Mr. Niagara is in and out, as obviously he works. And I'm just hanging around the house like usual. The only thing of any import? Is that word used that way? The only thing of any import yeah, I'm going to keep it, I'm going to say that, is that we finally got our COVID check. That's what we're calling it. We don't know why we're getting it, but it just has something to do with COVID. So it's several $100s. So we're going to put it into the house. And the first thing we're going to do is get our front step fixed because it's falling to pieces. So we'll see how much that costs, and Mr. Niagara says we should still have plenty left over, so we're thinking of what to do with that. I want to get either our dishwasher fixed or a new one, because we have been without a dishwasher for way too long. Well, it's really hard. I have a hard time doing the dishes because I can't stand there long enough. I can only, and otherwise my back just starts killing me. And I can't really sit down and wash the dishes either because, one, we don't have any chairs high enough. Maybe my new office chair would be high enough. So I haven't tried that, but even if it was, I'm too short to reach into the sink. I am a short person, which I think I've said before, but I don't know if I've ever told you guys how tall I am. I'm 5'1". So I'm a shorty. Just have to lift it up so I can see the numbers over there. So I've got a new setup with the camera. The other one, the legs of the tripod were getting in my way, and one of them was always on camera, which I don't like. Now this one still is right here, just a bit, but it's better than it was. And if I keep my book over here, there's a good chance I can crop it out of the screen. But it's further back, so I don't know if I'm able to get a straight down view. It looks like it's straight down to me, though it may be just a little bit on an angle. So let me know if this is okay, or if it's like you notice a big difference and you don't like it. Because I can only tell what it's like to watch by you guys telling me. So don't tell me it's okay if it's not, because then I'll mess around with it some more and try to get a better angle. Because I gotta have my book here, because I told you last time when I changed the setup, is I have to have my elbows on the table, otherwise my shoulder starts to hurt. But oh yeah, I got the cortisone shot in my shoulder too, and it's doing well. Every now and then it's like the cortisone shot doesn't really take, but it did this time, so that's doing well. I just have to make sure I don't lift anything heavy, because that'll just make it go out, and I'll have wasted my shot. But you know, I mean, sometimes when when I'm feeling good and I'm actually, like able to like do some work around the house, I forget, my shoulder's feeling okay, and when I can do something by myself, I like to have the independence, because so often I'm needing help from someone that I'll like go, oh, that won't be heavy, I'll just pick that up, I'm sure it'll be fine, and then it's not fine. So So I have to remember that I have to ask for help, even if I'm feeling good with lifting things. So are there any books coming out this month that you are looking forward to? I've got one, but I'm not going to tell you what it is because it's by a really, really good artist who has a new book out, but I haven't heard anybody in the community mentioning it, that it's coming out. So I want to be able to surprise people with it if it does go by unnoticed, because it looks like a really, really good book. Haven't been able to see what any of the pictures are like inside, but I know that this artist is fantastic. I have most of this artist's books already. Okay, it looks like I'm done with the 10s, but I keep my markers that I'm using out, you can see. I keep them out until I'm finished because there's lots of chances that I've missed some. So I'm like starting here and picking a color and going forth. So next one we've got here is some 11s, and that is orange. So I used light orange, now I just want orange, and there's no more oranges on here, so I can pick whatever I want as long as it's darker than that one. So I don't have a lot of oranges. That's one problem. What is this one? Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so I'm going for number 11, orange. I'm going to use Pen and Gear, and it is a bright orange. So we're going to do the 11s. See, if I barely touch the marker to the page, I can get in there and do the finest of lines. So you don't really need the fine liners unless, you know, you'd like to do it. Because like my problem is you use the fine liners, but then you get to a big piece like this, and with the permanent markers, they end up streaking. With the fine liner permanent markers, doing big spaces, you end up getting streaks. So I don't like to do that, if at all possible. Still having problems with my voice sounding weird to myself. Well, I forgot what color what number I was looking for there for a minute. I know there's a couple of other books coming out soon, but because I was putting things. I'm not going to pre-order any of them except for the one that I was talking about. I've pre-ordered it. And it's actually on its way to me now, but Amazon Canada is not very good for getting pre-orders to you anytime soon, so it came out on the 3rd. I think today's the 4th, so it came out yesterday. Wish I knew what the other books were that I'm looking forward to. Here, let me have a look at my list. I've got it open. Shouldn't take long. Oh no, I just have to check my cart because that's where I put them. So, let's see. What are the new ones that are coming out? Oh yes, Teresa Goodridge has a new one coming out this month. Wish You Were Here. Not sure what this one's going to be like. And not in November, but the 1st of December, the new mythographics coming out. And it's back to Joseph Kattenbang. But this one looks really, really good. It's about, well, it's called Odyssey, and it's about mythic journeys. So that should be really good. I hope it does go into mythology, because that would be, I would love to have one of those books that was all about the gods and stuff like that. So yeah, it looks like those are the only two. But yeah, those are enough. Don't need to. It's not good when there's like 6 books coming out that I want. I don't know, Creative Haven hasn't really been putting out any books that I want lately, except for my George Toufexis, and now that I'm starting to get interested in Teresa Goodridge, there's her as well. But I don't know, just haven't seen anything else that is for me. I'm not a Marjorie Sarnat fan. She's just too fancy and curly, whirly. I don't know, her pictures just all seem all curly, you know? They don't appeal to me. I love seeing them colored, though. There's some like really awesome pictures. But yeah, they don't appeal to my coloring style. Well, I don't have a style, but you know what I mean. So I've decided that I'm gonna spend the next little while watching some Sean Connery movies, since he passed recently. It's not one of those things to be sad about, because he was 90 years old, and it's a blessing to live that long. Okay, look, there's a 10. And 10 is green, so I'll do that so I don't forget. And I don't like leaving them till the end, because then you end up with a page that just has all these scattered pieces all over the place, and you have to go in with one color and with another, and yeah, that just doesn't work for me. So I watched one already. As soon as I thought about watching his movies, I decided that I wanted to watch my favorite movie, which I hadn't seen since. I've seen it a few times, but when I was a kid I saw it, and then I probably saw it in my 20s. So, been a little while since. You see, I'm finding more 10s. I just didn't do this side of the pumpkin. Watch me go. So it was really good. I ended up being all choked up. I didn't cry at the end, but it did make me choked up. I felt sorry for him. Alright, so back to 11. But yeah, it is a good movie. When I was looking for movies of his to watch, I'm not going to watch any James Bond movies, because I've seen all the Sean Connery movies multiple times. I was a huge James Bond fan And the Sean Connery and the Roger Moore movies I've watched many, many times each. Not really into anything other than that, those ones. I did watch a few of Pierce Brosnan's, and I like him, so I enjoyed them, but they just weren't like the others. But I guess it's maybe because I watched them as a kid. The Roger Moore was James Bond when I was a kid. And then I saw the Sean Connery ones on TV. Okay, so that seems to be it over there, and there's none down this side, so let's venture over here. Okay, we got quite a bit here. I hope you guys are able to see what I'm doing. Isn't it looking good? This book has some nice pictures in it. If you haven't seen a flip through of it yet, you should. I'm going to put one up on my channel in a couple of days. When you watch this, I'll either have put one up or will be putting one up like in a day or two. Of course, you can go watch it somewhere else too. I don't know, I just feel like my voice is hoarse. So did anybody get anything in the mail today? Did you get any coloring goodies? I didn't. I got something in the mail, but it was just hygiene stuff. So, not very exciting, but needed, so. Sometimes you have to buy the things you need, not the things you want. So, I am reading a book off of NetGalley, which I have not done for probably, well, it's got to be at least 3 years. Whoops, there's a 2. Got to get a 2. That's yellow. I remember that. There we go. Just the one. Okay. These color nicely, the pen and gear. Unfortunately, we don't have them here in Canada except for this one set, which has, I don't know how many are in it, but it has like 8 blacks, and then it has 2 of the popular colors like red, blue, green, you know, your primaries, and then 1 of a couple of other colors. So it's a weird set, and that's all we get. And I know you have all sorts of colors in the States there, but I don't know why Walmart doesn't want to sell them here. I'm sure Canadians buy permanent markers. So, talking about things that Canadians don't get, I've got some sad news. And it's that Coloria has shut down their Canadian store. They just weren't making enough money to cover their costs to run it. So they were sad that they had to do it because, you know, they had wanted to. And they're a French company, and of course, we have a French province, so, you know, kind of would have been expanding to them also. So I asked her if they were going to, if their U.S. store would ship to Canada, and she said as far as they knew, or as far as she knew, they were. I think she said there might be some restrictions, so maybe not to the north, because there's lots of things that don't ship to the north. Like, you can only, like if you live up in the territories, then, you know, there's lots of places up there where you can only get things delivered by airplane. I mean, not like that in the cities, but I would imagine there's probably, I don't really know, to tell you the truth, but I would imagine there's probably just as many people living out in the, is it called the countryside up in the north? I don't know, I've never been there. But I imagine, let's say rural, I imagine that there's just as many rural people as there is living in the cities up there. I've got quite a bit of orange. It's looking really nice and bright with the colors that we've got so far. So as I was saying, it has been forever, like years, at least 3 years, that, let me see. Yeah, it could probably even be 4 years since I did that, but I have never stopped receiving emails from Simon & Schuster Canada. Every season I get an email from them telling me what new books there are, which ones you can order a physical ARC advanced reading copy of. It's called an ARC of, and you know, saying that there's limited quantities. So, and then, you know, the links on NetGalley to all the books that are being released in the new season. But most times I just delete it without even opening it. But every now and then I'd take a look and see if any of my authors had a new book out. But I definitely wasn't going to be requesting any books off of NetGalley. But, you know, I've been back into reading and trying to get back into the habit of doing it. And since I'm not reading a novel right now, just dipping into the short stories, I got the email and I thought, you know what? I might just look and see what there is, see if there's anything that's my type of book, and request them and do a little bit of reviewing. So, okay, so this is 11, and I've got a 0 here. So this is the first one I've come to. So I am going to just color it in. The 0 I'm coloring in as if it were an 11, because if you were using pencils, that's what you would do, but then when you were done, you would shade in some black so that it looked like a shadow. That's what they want you to do anyways. But that won't work with markers, and I don't feel like trying to find a darker color to make it a shadow. So, yeah, just do that if you don't know what to do with them. Okay, so now what is that? Anyway, I've got an 8 and a 10 in the same spot. Well, I think maybe I'll just make that line a little bit bigger and color that in a 10. I hope my head's not on screen. Somebody tell me if it is. My hair's a mess. Alright, any more 11s on this pumpkin? Yep. Yep, around this side. Wonder what color the cat's going to be. I was hoping it would be a ginger cat, but I guess that wouldn't look well if surrounded by all these pumpkins, and, you know, the cat has to match. You know, that's one thing I try not to do, is make people match their backgrounds, because, I mean, it's not like if you're at your house, you don't only wear a specific skirt when you're in the living room because it matches the walls. You know, I mean, that's silly. So, I mean, I do look at composition and color theory and all that kind of stuff, because I learned that in school, but I'm not afraid to let people wear clothes that don't match their background. Okay, so we got that pumpkin done, but now it looks like it comes around here, and we've got a bunch here. So as I was saying, so I looked through, and there wasn't anything by, like, my authors, but there were some thrillers, and a couple of other books that interested me that were quirky, because that's the other kind of book that I like, is quirky stories, like odd. I mean, I just like odd stuff, and I really like quirky characters. That's why I like Southern fiction so much, because there's always that, well, in Southern fiction, sometimes all the characters are quirky, but there's always that one that is like really out there that you end up loving and rooting for and everything. But they don't have to be funny or happy stories, the quirky ones that I read. And in fact, I like it if they're not. I would prefer an unhappy ending, or not necessarily an unhappy ending, because if things don't work out, it's not always bad. You know, like, if you die, it's not bad for the person who dies. It's only bad for those left behind. So sometimes at the end of a book, if a character dies, it kind of brings their life full circle, and there may even be redemption involved in that, and then they die, and it's like complete. I talk with my hands, and now you can see that. Alrighty, so now I'm going to come up. Nope, I've done up there. I need to go into the trees outside of the window. And yes, we have orange. So I requested them, and I wasn't sure whether I would be given approval, because, you know, if they looked at my NetGalley account, I don't know how they do it anymore, if they still like give you a rating and all that kind of stuff. I would have a very low rating, because, you know, I just stopped using it, so I had like tons of books I'd requested and never wrote a review for. So, you know, that's what happens when you just up and quit. Just say, that's it, I'm done, and then don't see everything through on NetGalley. And also they would have seen that it had been about 4 years since I had participated on there, but it only took a couple of days and I was given approval for every book I requested, and I believe there was 4. So I just dove in with the first book. I didn't even really pay attention to what it was about, because like I like to just read a bit about what it's about, enough to like get me interested to know, but I don't like to read the whole description or summary of what the book is about, because often they give away way too much information of stuff that like could be, you know, surprises when you're reading it. So I don't want to know that stuff. So anyways, the book that I'm reading is called Good Neighbors, and I forget who it's by. Here, just let me open it up. Where's my Kindle? Oh wait, I think I have it open already. I'll give it time to open up. So yeah, I'll look up who the author is. She's written other books, but I have never read her before. So this is my first book by her, and this is a quirky book. So it's kind of cool because part of it is told through court records, newspaper accounts, all that kind of stuff, so that it is a bit of a, oh, what is that called? Epistology. Not Episcopal. Oh no, was that? I've forgotten the words. I used to know all the words. I used to know all the literary terms, but it's left me. Anyways, so I really like that, because I love books that are told through like diary entries, and then, you know, occasional like newspaper clippings and letters, texts. Oh yeah, there's texts in it too. But between those, there's proper chapters, like long chapters. And so far, from what I've read, it's about the people in a suburban neighborhood and how they all get together for block parties, and they all do things together, and they all have to like have the proper standing and do only the things that are, you know, worthy of their class, and, you know, that kind of thing. And then this family moves in, and they're nothing like the rest of them. The husband is a ex rock band singer, popular. And the wife is an ex-Southern beauty pageant winner and participator. Okay, so here we go. It's open. Go up to, whoops, no, don't change the page on me. I'll have to go to the table of contents to find out what. Sarah Langan. Langan. Good Neighbors by Sarah Langan. Now, I don't know what the publication date of that is. It may still be a pre-release, because I didn't even look at the date. Sometimes you get them and they're already released, or sometimes you get them months before they're coming out. Okay, I said we were done that. So we'll go back, and we've got 19 in here. So that is dark green. Okay, so I've used green, and there are also 2 more greens, yellow green and light green. Okay, so I don't have to worry about that. Dark green is going to be different. So let's just grab a dark green. Here, this one is a big intensity. Just let me, oh yeah, this is the dark one. Okay, so I am using for number 19, dark green, we are using a big intensity meadow green. For 19, here we are. So this family moves in, and one of the ladies befriends her, and she's kind of a the stuck-up lady, the one who organizes all the block parties and all the trips, and you know, she likes to be in charge and have people need her and that kind of stuff. And so we find out, I'm not going to let you know everything, we find out why she befriended her, and she had good reasons. Like, she wasn't nasty and stuff, but something happens between the two of them, which the beauty pageant wife has no idea that anything has happened between them, but we know what it is. It's something that made the other lady upset. And so now she's turned evil, and she's just totally ignoring her, being rude, getting all the other people to, you know, well, they know she's mad at her, so that, you know, they can't hang out with her because she doesn't. They don't want to make her mad at them, type of thing. And so now they all have kids, and they all hang around together. And so the lady's daughter, the organizer lady's daughter, she, oh, okay, there's an 11 there. What color was that? Orange. She has told her daughter not to have anything to do with the beauty queen's daughter, and they were best friends. And so now that upset the daughter, but now she's turned into an extremely evil person, and she has told all the other kids in the neighborhood that they can't hang out with her, and that she's like mean and trash, and, or not mean, but that she's like not worthy of them, and she's trash, and you know, all this kind of stuff, and she's being vicious to her. So the story alternates between us getting, being told, you know, it alternates between a chapter that's all about the adults, then it gives you one of the newspaper articles, or, you know, text or something like that, and then the next chapter will be all from the kids' point of view. And on top of all that, a sinkhole has appeared in their park. So they're in a suburban area that is a big curve, and across from where they are is this giant park, and that's where they have all their barbecues and picnics and all that kind of stuff. And while they're there having a 4th of July barbecue, a sinkhole opens up right in there, right in their park. And so now they're dealing with that because the cleanup is going on and it's dangerous and that kind of stuff. So that's where we are right now. But oh, the other thing that we know, and you know this going into the book because it's in the blurb. Well, not the blurb, but the summary of the book is that, and it's like the first thing that you read in the book too, is that on that street, everybody got together and murdered one of the family, or all of a family, or something like that. It's this, we're reading from the future. I think it's like something like 2034 or something like that is the year. And so this murder case is like the biggest thing that's happened in the state ever. And I forget which state it takes place in. It's not the South. So yeah, definitely quirky. And I'm loving it. So it's nice to read something that's different than just a thriller. But I never get sick and tired of the thrillers. They'll always be my meat and potatoes of reading. Okay, so I've forgotten what number I'm looking for. 19. My throat is starting to get a little bit sore. I don't know, do I sound hoarse? I think I've asked you that before. So anyways, we've been 52 minutes here, so I think I'm going to stop, and I'll come back with this. I know I try to do two different, like, when I come back to do a different book, but I'm enjoy doing this for you. But you know what? So I'm going to do that. Previously, I did the same book in the last vlog, but previous to that, I've always tried to do two different books, or more if I did more filming than twice a week. So let me know if you don't mind me working in the same book for the whole vlog, or if you'd rather get a chance to see me working in a different book each time I log on in the vlog. So let me know about that, and I'll keep that in mind when I film. So I'm gonna sign off now, and I'll probably be back on Friday. So see you then. Bye-bye. Well, not bye-bye. I'm gonna see you in a minute. You're just gonna watch this, and then boom, I'll be back. So in a while, crocodile. Hello. Today is Saturday, and it is 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I have been putting this off. Not totally purposefully. I wanted to wait until lunchtime to do it, and then I found myself falling asleep at my desk. So I decided if I was gonna sleep, I need to go to bed and have that be the place where I sleep, because it helps me not fall asleep all over the place if I actually go to a bed and lay down. So I ended up sleeping for an hour and a half, and now I'm refreshed, and I've been fed, and I'm ready to film. So we were working in Autumn Inspirations, and I didn't know whether to continue or not, but the answer has been made for us because I couldn't stop after I turned off the camera. So we're finished. So this is what it looks like. Let's get that out of there. So isn't that nice? I think the cat turned out just just wonderful. Now, they didn't have the eyes colored in. Well, I mean, they didn't have any numbers in the eyes, so I went ahead and made the pupils black and then colored green. So, yeah, I think it turned out really well. I like it. So that's what these pictures look like if you do them in permanent markers. So I thought we'd take a look at a few things, and then I'd like to start working on swatching my polychromoses. So first thing is I thought I would show you my whips that I have going. I've got a little pile of them here. Well, actually, I don't think. Oh. Well, these are not all whips. Some of them I'm not doing anything in, but we'll talk about them anyways. Oh, jeez, I never have anywhere to put stuff. There's always piles around me. So, I'm working on this. My friend Lisa over at Coloring My Way and I are going to buddy color this magazine together in the same fashion that I did the designing colors, doing two patterns a month, and I think she's going to be doing the random colors throughout like I am. That's what I do with these patterns. So this is the one that I am working on right now. It's not exactly pretty, but I think I've put the colors together right. These are the colors that I randomly chose. I'm using the fine liners for this. So I've got, well, first of all, the ones that I chose, I have all my fine liners together. So the ones that ended up coming out were Arteza, Stabilo, and this one is a one-off that I have. It's an Edding 89 that may be quite old, but it works just fine. So the colors I ended up with are light brown, yellow, neon green, light pink. It looks like it's a nice, bright, happy pink, but it's a very light pink. This one here is, I can't tell what color it is. The top here shows it being a deep wine color, but when I use it, yes, it does seem to be that, but it also could be a rich red brown. Then this is purple, and this is a normal shade of green. The neon Stabilo here is quite scratchy. It only works if I hold it straight up, so there's no coloring with it like this. You can only color with it this way. So I'm going to use it to finish this up. Then I'm gonna put it in the garbage. I don't need to have that in my stash. So I'm working on that, and then Penny over at Pebbles. Not sure how the rest of her channel name goes. Pebbles something or other, but I'll put the link down below. Well, she's got a color along going for the fold out dragon at the back of Enchanted Forest by Joanna Basford. So she's put up two color alongs so far, part 1 and part 2. It is an actual color along. Takes it step by step with you, and we did some blending with gel pens. I never really knew you could do that, and it looks beautiful. So I'm really enjoying working on this because I'm the type of person who basically uses gel pens for embellishments or for the occasional round in a mandala. So it's kind of cool doing a whole picture in gel pens. So yeah, I'm really enjoying working on that, and that will be quite something to have that page done in there. This, I don't have anything going on in it. I'm just, my Facebook group does a challenge every month, and this month we're doing a palette, a 5-color palette, and I'm going to use that to color this picture in the Chibi book. So I've got that one coming up to color. And then this one that I'm working on here is quite the mixed media piece. I can't believe everything I've used on it so far, and I have not done much. Now I'm using water colors and water medium on this, so that's why I've got the waxed paper in here. If you use large sheets of wax paper, and you just need to tear it off the roll and put them behind the pages that you're working on, you won't have anything spill over onto other pages. It's just that's what we do in mixed media art journals. So I prepped this page with oh boy, what's that medium called? Oh, the liquid glazing medium. And I should say that I'm doing this as a buddy color with Tracy, my friend Tracy at Tracy Colors. I think she's decided she's not going to YouTube. She has removed all her content right now, so, but, yeah. So anyways, yeah, I've done Tinkerbell over there. This, oh, I should tell you the book. This is Peter Pan by Fabiana Attanasio. So I've done Tinkerbell, and I based her skin with alcohol marker. Now you can use alcohol marker on your pages after you've put this liquid glazing medium down, and it doesn't go through. It doesn't go through the page because you're putting an acrylic layer, which acrylic is basically plastic, what plastic is made out of. So you're putting this plastic layer on your page, so it's not going to bleed through the acrylic medium. So yeah, the only problem, so this is the first time I've done it, and I was very scared putting that first pen to page, and I just kind of like did a little this, and then I'm like, oh, and yes, so it is scary, even though you know it's not going to go through. Yeah, the alcohol markers don't work the way that they do on paper directly. They slide around, so they act like water-based markers on top of this, so you get streaks and you get little pools of liquid, and then you push it around. Very, very different to do, so you might as well just use your water-based markers if that's what you want to do. So I did that, and then I went on top of it with some Prismacolors for the skin, because I don't do fancy skin shading or whatever. I just, I used fine liners, so water-based markers, excuse me, water-based markers actually work really well on the glazing liquid. They don't streak. You can, the water-based medium sits on top of it, and you can push it around to where you want it to be, and then it dries. It dries flat. So like there's no streaking in here. It looks more like watercolor, where it's a little bit darker here, and kind of like lighter here, and a little bit of pooling, that sort of thing. So not really that noticeable because I was just doing such small pieces there. Then, because I'd gone over her eye with the pencils, the pencil crayons, I used a micron pen to go back over her eyelid. And then for her hair, I used Tombow markers, but I brushed them onto Oh boy, I say so many times. I have a hard time getting words to like come out. It's hard to think the words at the rate that I want them to come out of my mouth. But yeah, somebody mentioned in the comments that was fibro fog, and I guess it is. But I just have to deal with it. So I just hope I don't sound dumb. So I scribbled some Tombow into my palette and used a paintbrush and picked up the watercolor and just painted her hair with that. So my next step is I'm going to be using these are the how do you pronounce that? Yasutomo pearlescent paints. These are a cheap set of pearlescent watercolors. They don't give you very much, but it's very vibrant. You can see here like just how shiny those colors are. Looks like some are more shiny than others, but they are all shiny. And yeah, like I said, you can see the bottoms of the pans here, but it'll take a while to use it all up, so it's worth it. It cost me $5, but that was a few years ago now, so could be more, but I'm pretty sure you can still get this palette. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to use the this color right here, the kind of pastel lavender there. I'm going to use that on her wings, and then depending on how opaque that is, because pearlescents tend to be more opaque than normal watercolors. And I think I heard someone say that was because they have white in them. So, but we don't need to know why. We just need to know that fact. So if I can see the lines coming through, I'll go over them with, hopefully I've got a purple opaque something or other to go over them with. Otherwise I'll use a white. And then I haven't thought any further ahead. Just doing this one step at a time. So, yeah, that's everything that I'm working on right now. So those are my whips. I don't usually have more than one. Usually I say my whip is what I'm working on, but somehow this happened. But I'm not making a habit of it. It's just because of the color along, and I want to take my time with this picture. We're not in any rush, the two of us. We're taking our time, and we're trying to get it done by the end of the, we're trying to take the whole month to do it. And with this, we'll be working on two pictures a month. This one it has some very tiny work in it, and the next one makes up for it by being a very big spaced mandala. This is a pretty cool issue of this magazine because it's all mandalas. So yeah, the other thing that I wanted to bring up was the oh, what am I doing? That's not even the... Oh, this is my current Spin the Wheel book. So this will be the next book that I work in for that. So I spin the wheel and pick a book, and then I put it with the books that I have coming up. So I'm just keeping it with it. But I haven't colored in that that issue yet. That's what all my books on my Spin the Wheel app are books that I haven't colored in yet. So now the other thing that I wanted to show you is . I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before, but I am a Amazon Vine voice on the Canadian Amazon site. Now, up to this point, I have been reviewing all sorts of items. It's supposed to be based on what you buy and what you review, but that, what do you call it? Well, that thing hasn't worked ever since the Amazon Vine Voice program started in Canada, which was several years after it had started on the American site. And you have to be invited to be a member of that. It's based on your reviewing history. But yes, so I've reviewed all sorts of things like printers, mattresses, coffee machines, and little dinky things like got some beard oil for my son and hand cream and you know, that kind of stuff. But this last week I went on the site and it was all crap, like where they show you the items that they've recommended for you. And so I went there, or the page I should say, not the site, the page with the items that are on offer to you, and it was all filled with craft items, and I'm like, what? And it was amazing, and I'm going, oh my goodness, is this set up to actually follow my likes? So hopefully it is. They've added a few more items to it, and it's been craft items, so if it is, it means I've got I'll be having some things that I can show on the channel that I can review. So what I picked up with the first set was they had a set of alcohol markers. So of course, of course I was going to pick that up. Now these are called Ojoro. And I thought what I would do when I review these, and they're nice. I like their barrel. They are round ones, so I really like that, because when I first got a square barrel, I thought it was pretty cool because it was new, but after I've been using them now, I cannot say that I like them very much. So it'll be nice too. These are actually not round, they're triangular. But what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to do a yellowing test. So I will use them and review them on Amazon, but I'm going to use the red colors. And is there I don't think there's a black in here. It actually comes with a blender and oh, what's down there? Oh, nothing. A blender and a white gel pen. Who knows if that will work? But I'll take the red colors and put them on a piece of Amazon paper, and then I will cover that up and put it aside somewhere and leave it for a month, and then I'll come back to it and see if it's yellowed the pages, because I'll put a paper on top and a paper on bottom and see if it does the yellowing, so I'll know if this brand of markers yellows. So it might not even take a month, it might take a week, who knows. But I'm going to leave, well, I'll check it every week, but I will leave it up there for a month to give it time. And then I'll let you guys know if they yellow, and I guess I'll edit my review on Amazon to include that. So I've got those to review. And then I picked this up, which I haven't even opened. now I'm getting back into watercoloring slowly, so I thought this would be a good thing to check out. And this is a set of round water brush. Ugh, is that even going to come off? Okay, yeah, they're coated, so you need to wash them off, and I'll include that all in my... Yeah, it looks like it's already had a couple of little hairs sticking out. But we will try those out. So they go from a... Oh, which one is the smallest one here? Oh, those look smaller. So yeah, it goes from a 0, which is quite a tiny one. It's not the teeny tiniest one, because I think that's a 000. And then it's got a 6. Now that's the most popular. That's the most popular number, a number 6 round. And then I've got 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Yeah, I've got a few of these big ones myself. It was the little ones that I need that I didn't have. I much prefer using a paintbrush than those water brushes. They just drive me nuts. I haven't found one that I really like yet. They either just drip out water all over the place, and you know, you can't stop the flow, and you're like wiping the brush and painting, wiping the brush and painting, or it won't flow till you're like painting, it dries up, so then you have to like squeeze it, and you're not supposed to have to squeeze it, except for if you need to wash out a dirty color. So there's that, and then these I thought would be worth a look at, because I don't have any Woodless pencils. So these are Montmartre Woodless watercolor pencils, and you see that brand around quite a bit on Amazon. So designed in Australia. Of course, made in China, but it is an Australian company. That's interesting. So yeah, I didn't know that. So we'll check these out and see what they're like. The purpose of Woodless pencils, regular pencils or watercolor pencils, from what I gather, and because I had to look this up to find out, okay, there are Woodless pencils. Why? Why would I want to use them? And from what I can figure is that they're used for covering large spaces, so that you don't have to use just your little small tip. You can, you know, there's no wood on these, so you've got pure pigment sticks, and it helps you cover a large area. So that's what 7mm cores. Oh yeah, hold the pencil on its side for excellent coverage. They always tell you you can use watercolor pencils, not just these, but any watercolor pencils. It says use dry or wet. Well, I have yet to see a watercolor pencil that looks good dry. I mean, they look like some pigment that needs something done to it. Even the Albrecht Dürers. I wouldn't use those without water. I don't know. So that is the extent of the things that I wanted to show. So now what I want to do is swatch my polychromos. Polychromos. What is the plural of polychromos? There are 4 polychromos. There are 4 polychromos on the table. Chromos. Maybe you just make the O long. There's 1 polychromos. No, it's a long O of both. There are 2 polychromos. Yeah, I think it stays the same. I'm a grammar geek. That's the kind of thing that tickles my fancy to investigate. Word problems. Alright, now how am I going to do this? Like I said, I've got a... Now if I pull on this, I might just end up having a cord on screen. Oh, speaking of on screen, I don't know if this is going to work. Am I going to be able to write down the colors and keep up conversation at the same time? I don't know. Let me reach over here. I need to get a... No, that's not a thin pen. Oh, excuse my reach. I'm afraid this is going to bang into stuff. Yeah, I better not. Okay, I need a thin pen, and I know there's one in there. What's this? It's 0.5. What have I got on the table? Oh, geez, that's a 1. Oh, boy. Oh, yeah, that looks like it's a Sharpie pen. Yes, okay, we'll use that. Oh, wait a minute, here's my fine pen. Yeah, this is a 0.38. Oh, but it's brown, isn't it? Oh yeah, that'll work. Okay, so I don't know how much swatching I'll get done. So I put these into the order that I want them in. It's kind of based on, well, it is based on color families. And it's kind of the way that I've learned to do it from, oh, I keep wanting to say Jennifer Bliss. It's Jennifer Stay at Coloring Bliss. So the first one's not going to show up much because it's cream. So yeah, and the other thing that I wanted to talk about was the new issue of Coloring Heaven. I really like it. It's really cute, and I love all the pictures, and I'm looking forward to coloring a few in it this season. But I'm not very happy with Hannah Lynn's contribution. They're just pictures from what's it called? Enchanted Christmas? I don't know. No, it's Enchanted Halloween. Well, they're from the Christmas Whimsy Girls. It's that book. And that book was published in December of 2017. So that's 4 years old. 17, 18, 19, 20. So, okay. 18, 19, yeah, okay, it's 3 years old. It's 3 years old, and that's the best that they can offer us of Hannah Lynn pictures. When I saw her on the cover of the magazine, I don't even know where the heck it is. I'm looking for it, but yeah, it's around here somewhere. Oh, here it is. Like, she's right on the cover, so you get all excited that Hannah Lynn is going to be in this book. But I don't know Hannah Lynn's work that well, but I do know I've seen this picture before, because I mean, the colorists, there's so many people color Hannah Lynn, whether you like her or not, or if you're just starting out with her work, then like I am, then you're still going to have seen a ton of Hannah Lynn pictures. And I recognize that, and I actually have the Christmas book. And so she's at the back, and these are pictures. That's the ugly Christmas sweater picture. And I saw that done not too long ago from the Christmas book. Yeah, so these are all from the Christmas book. But, so that's not so great from Coloring Heaven / Hannah Lynn for their idea of some work in this magazine. Everything else is absolutely fantastic. The stuff from Ruth Sanderson's new book is amazing. If it wasn't in there and I had seen her new book, I would have got it right away, because that's, oh, what am I doing? Because that stuff is awesome. But on the other hand, speaking of Hannah Lynn, she has now got out her new digital edition of the Christmas Whimsy Girls, I believe is what the coloring book is called. She's now got her new PDF version of that out. If you didn't know, she's going back over her older work and she's doing some cleaning up and thinning the lines on her early work, because some of her very early work has extremely thick lines in it, and it's not like her work that she does now at all. So she's going back and she's thinning up those lines, but she's also making the PDFs so that they have the regular version and a simplified version of all the pictures. So far she's done the Halloween book, and now she has the Christmas book done. So I'm going to get that. I've decided that it took... I'm not going to be able to write down these names and talk at the same time. What was I saying? Yeah, so she's got those two out, and then of course there's her two new ones. But as far as I know, she's going through all of the old ones and coming up with these new PDF versions. I'm not sure why she's not just changing the uploading new editions onto Amazon. I don't know. But yeah, so you know, like we talked about before, I was starting to talk about where PDFs could enter into my coloring book collection. And the thing that drew me to Hannah Lynn is her last two books. I think maybe it's because of I don't even know what I'm doing. Okay, let's just go over this part right here to make it dark. Okay. I have to have my pencils so that the color and the number are showing, and they're all across like that. If they're not, I have to change them. These are a little bit fat for my elastics, but I guess they will loosen up after they've been in and out of them several times. I'm not sure how I'm going to fit these long names on there. So that's the bad and the good of what's happening with Hannah Lynn, in my opinion. Seriously, don't take me seriously. So one thing that I wanted to say too is that I really want to welcome my new subscribers. It is just absolutely amazing. I've had quite a few people joining in the last little while, and that has made me reach 2.5K and over, like nicely over, so don't have to worry about falling back under again. So yeah, welcome, and I'm flabbergasted, really, that I'm at 2.5K. My goal was 1,000. And then, as you know, if you've been with me, I upped my goal a little bit. And so I had, when I reached 2K, I was floored. And so putting it up to 2.5, my goal was just so I had a goal. I'm not going to put any further subscriber goals on my list, because my list of goals, yeah, it's like I have this list, you know, of all my goals, yeah, right. Um, I'm making up these goals so that I have some goals. But, yeah, I can't keep my mind on what I'm talking about today. Yeah, I don't need to make a goal for any more subscribers because I've got even more than what I could have dreamt up. So just welcome, and to everybody who's here and been here for a while, you know how much I appreciate you. And yeah, it's great. I love you guys, and I thank you for coming, you know, and for those who are staying. And that's enough. I won't blabber on about it, because if I try to talk about emotional things, I just end up like, I don't stop, and I like start to blabber. Alright, so we've got light yellow glaze. It's pretty hard to write some of these long names in this little space, but I like to have my swatch sheets all on one page, or two. But I suppose, you know, if I did 272s, that would be, no, that'd be 140. Oh yeah, that would be enough. Well, I could do 260s, and that would be 120. Why didn't I think of that before? Because then it would be over 2 pages, and it'd be nice to like just open up and look at the spread. I'd have more room. But do I need more room? Because I like getting these out and using them and then putting them back. I'm kind of like thinking out loud, so if I'm not making sense, don't worry, I'm not supposed to. Alright, we're going to keep on with this. It's fine. All my others are like this except for the Prismacolors, because Coloring Bliss has a two-page Prismacolor, like pre-printed Prismacolor swatch sheet. So yeah, this is what I'd like to do, is just put down one layer so I can see what the thin layer is, and then a layer up this side. You know, I swore when I first started using pencils, layering, oh my goodness, I'll never ever do that. And I've started layering with wax crayons because I just find it so rewarding to like see the color deepening. And it's relaxing too. There are times when I'm coloring and I just want to see the finished project. So that's when I get out a girl to do with my alcohol markers and, you know, have some fun with her. And then there's other times when I just want to look at color, and that's when I get the pencils out. Don't want to make it sound too deep because it's not really that deep. It's just, I can't use that pen, that's a fat one. This one is a 0.38, which is the best one for writing. Ooh, how am I going to get this on? Cadmium, yellow, lemon. And where are we going to put the number? Right there, I guess. Yeah, these are beautiful. What's that? Oh my goodness, like what the heck is that? That's like a she shed. Oh my goodness. My neighbors, they are like, the house got sold, and this was like about 3 months ago, and for a while the house just stood there with the sold sign and nothing happened. And then all of a sudden these guys started showing up, and then the work started. the house started being worked on, the first thing they did was the roof, because their roof was in really bad shape. We would have shingles on our driveway every time there was a windstorm, and that's the biggest kind of storm we get here, is wind storms. Yeah, so yeah, first thing they did was the roof, and then, you know, they just started working on the house on the outside and the insides. In the backyard, they started having all sorts of strange things arriving. We would wake up on the mornings at 7 o'clock every morning with hammers or saws or goodness knows what. It has been like very noisy and annoying because it's happening right next door to us, and that house is situated so that the house is there, and then there's a very thin strip on this side of their house and then our garage. So the house is close enough to us that if we look out our windows on that side of the house, we're looking into well, not exactly looking into the windows of the other house, but pretty close. I mean, we can see what's going on in the house if there's no curtains pulled down, and, you know, I don't think they had curtains on that. Maybe if I write cad instead of cadmium, it would be better. Will I remember what cad means? I think so. Light cad yellow. So, yeah, it's been annoying, to say the least. So anyways, my husband and I thought they were flipping the house. But my husband was out there one morning and he was talking to one of the guys, and they're not flipping it, they're turning it into a rental. So they're making an apartment upstairs, an apartment downstairs. And so then when he came and told me it was a rental, I was like, oh no. I'm sorry. Like, to people who are renters, I'm not like thinking that all renters are bad people, but it's just, you know, when you own your house and you moved in here because it was a nice neighborhood, and slowly, house by house by house, we've had 2 houses on our other side pulled down, for goodness sake, and for no good reason. They weren't like they weren't derelict houses, or, you know, that needed to be demolitioned, or whatever the word is. It's just that they're owned by a Buddhist monastery that we have on our street, and they wanted to make a parking lot, so they pulled down 2 of the houses that they owned. And basically, get this, basically what they did was they knocked the house down so that there was just the hole in the ground where the lot was originally made, and the basement was down there. But the houses on this street don't have proper basements. They're not fruit cellars, but they're cellars, you know. They like, ours doesn't have a dirt floor, but it's only because a cement floor has been laid down there. The houses next door to us could very well have had dirt floors. And then what they did was, like, I guess they smashed up the walls or whatever, but then they like used a bulldozer and like put the house in the hole and covered it up. So if you like go sit in the middle of the lot there and like, well, not sit, because you'd need to stand to shovel, and you start, like, you couldn't dig a grave and hide a body over there, for sure. Yes, I do watch too much true crime. Oh, it's funny where my mind goes. But you would like start finding house parts, and they did that with 2 houses. So anyways, I started, moaning about, oh no, it's going to be a rental. And my husband says, Mr. Niagara says, he says, calm down. He says, don't get worked up about something that's not there. Okay, like, there's just as good a chance they'll be very nice people, because I'm not saying that there won't be nice people. I'm saying that they're gonna like have parties in their backyard, and I don't know. I just think of renters as having parties in their backyard, and we just had the family move that we had that marijuana incident with when they must have thrown the stuff on the fire. That's the only thing we can come up with, that the smoke was in our house that thick. But that's another story on a totally different vlog, and I don't know which one. But if you've been here, you heard that story. So my life may be boring, but every once in a while, something a little out of the ordinary happens. Oh dear, my swatching is not happening. So yeah, I've ended up being longer than I thought it would be, because once I get into the flow of talking, I just feel like I'm talking to you, and I just don't stop. So what I want to ask you though is, so far I've told you guys that I've moved the tripod and changed the setup, and you guys have not even said boo. So this time I know there's a difference, as I've moved it again because I didn't have enough space on my desk. The tripod, what is this? Oh, that's my pen. I thought it was the tripod. My tripod was in my way, so that I couldn't fill things up. I couldn't put things down on my desk. It had to fit in between the tripod legs, so I've pushed it back. And now the camera's coming at me at a bit of an angle. So is that enough of an angle that it irritates you? Because I do all my editing. I do all my zooming in and zooming out in the editing software, so that so that you're not going ooh, in and out with the zoom on the camera. But yeah, I don't know what this is all about. So yeah, let me know if this is totally irritating, if you don't like this new setup, and I'll put it back to the way it was, and I'll just deal, because I've got to have it here on the desk so I can get my elbows on the table and give my it's better for my shoulders and my back, and but this way is going to work for me. I do not see myself changing this setup the way it is now, today, in this video. So I'm going to have to go, or else this is going to be a 2-hour vlog. So I'm going to say goodbye. Here comes the long process of trying to say goodbye. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to do it short and sweet. Everybody take care, stay safe, wear your masks, keep social distancing. I'm not telling you what to do. Just keep those things in mind, and let's all protect each other and stay healthy. Stay safe, and let's, help get this thing over with. So we can only do that by all working together. So I love you guys, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.